Whoa. 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 All right, cool. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Skeleton Crew brand podcast that I'm also simultaneously recording live on YouTube. So that's a first. I'm only doing it through my camera on my Mac. So the image quality is not spectacular, but it's not bad. It's great. It's just not what I'm used to conventionally. Also, I had to move this around a little bit so it wasn't covering my entire face, just part of my face. So that's cool. Let's see how it looks. Let's move this. Ooh, hello. Hey. That's weird. I'm going to cover my face because I don't want to see my face. So I'm going to cover my face with the GarageBand little media thing. And yeah, so maybe if this works, we'll start doing this more often. If not every time, maybe we'll change up the location to keep it interesting. And maybe we won't. So I don't know. So this is the Rev J Leal YouTube channel. It's me. I'm Jay Leal, and I do SkeletonCrewBrand.com, which, let me tell you, I thought I almost lost the website. So here's the thing. For those of you who don't know, we have a comic book podcast called Comic Crypt on the Skeleton Crew brand podcast network. And we recorded a show last night, and it wasn't very high energy from me. I think it's still pretty funny, but I was dealing with some nonsense yesterday so my friend Summer, shout out Summer. What up, Summer? I forget people can see me potentially if they want to now. So my friend Summer was like, hey man, your website looks kind of funky. There's a bunch of, Asian based script all over the place. It turns out that somebody did like a backdoor hack into my site, which doesn't make sense because I got my whole, what do they call those? The SSL certificate and all that kind of. I have precautions in place to protect information, to protect my information, to protect shopper information, all that kind of stuff. So I found it somewhat peculiar. This hack also it allowed somebody to pose as a owner, which was weird. So that was disheartening. Did my research, did my due diligence, looked it up, figured out the what was happening, and then I got in contact with my host provider, which is Bluehost. They've been great up until this very moment. So I get on the phone with Bluehost last night. I'm like, hey, there's something going on with my site. And instantly they're like, yeah, no, we can see your site's been hacked and blah, 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 blah. I was like, oh no. Okay, cool. Really grateful for this 24-hour support thing. And immediately they tried to sell me some shit. They tried to sell me some added protection. And I was like, no, no. If anything, this is a breach on your end. Because let me backtrack. I did speak with WordPress first. And they were like, look, this isn't a WordPress issue. You build your site with WordPress, but you don't host your site through WordPress. So we aren't able to tap into, the intricacies of how your site is hosted. I was like, okay, that makes sense. They weren't very that nice about it. 2 people responded to me on the forums. One lady was very polite, and then one guy was just a dick. And next to his name, he had happiness engineer. And I was just like, you're a terrible happiness engineer. I'm not happy at all with you. So get a new job. So went through WordPress and I got to Bluehost and they started trying to sell me shit. And I was like, no, dude, that's not how this goes. No, I'm not paying for anything. And he was like, oh, okay, yeah, I understand. It's like, do you though? Do you? So when I said I wasn't going to buy the $60 a month option that I had to pay up front for an entire 12 months, a 12-month agreement. It's like, no, I'm not going to do that. He dropped it down to 40. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that either. And then he was like, all right, well, my manager just so happens to be here and I can get it down to $35 a month for a 6-month agreement and we'll fix this problem right away. And that sparked something in my mind. I was like, wait, so you can fix this problem right away, yet you're not willing to do that for somebody who pays you monthly to host their website? You don't want to just go in and fix it? Because I mean, when it comes down to it, since I've made sure to be a monthly renewal situation instead of paying for the year, I can just let my month time out and, find my hosting options elsewhere. And I didn't say that to them, but that was running through my head once they were like, yeah, we can fix it, but we're going to want you to buy some stuff. I ultimately got off the phone with them and I was like, fuck it. No, I'll figure out another way. Like if I have to sit and dig through layers upon layers upon layers of code, I will. And we'll get to the bottom of it that way. So I wake up this morning and I go and I look at everything again. I had made previous attempts to remove this like mystery user who's posing as like an co-owner of the site. It wouldn't let me delete them before, but today it let me remove them. It let me delete them from existing in my realm. And I found it odd that after I spoke with Bluehost and told them, no, you're not getting any more money out of me, I was able to repair the problem. I was able to resolve the problem. There's still some things to like go in and like tweak, but yeah, so I'm not entirely sure if Bluehost was trying to scam me and they attacked my website just to try to get more money out of me or what. So at the end of my month, this time I may renew and I may just go somewhere else. So either way, it'll still be skeletoncrewbrand.com. All of the shopper information is safe. I made sure of that because I don't host my processing with Bluehost or WordPress or anything like that. I use Amazon and PayPal for payment processors because I know for a fact they're not going to get breached or hacked. So yeah, there's no danger to anybody's information or my information really. I think they were just trying to steal my SEO number or tracking. I don't know what the fuck they were. The guy made up some nonsense that was just like, why? Because I mean, my site gets pretty good traffic, but I mean, if you're really going to put forth some effort into hack anybody, like why wouldn't you want to go after somebody more substantial or widespread? Like I am pretty niche. I got to get my email off of some of these fucking places. It's nothing but junk mail. Like I am overrun with junk mail in my my email inbox. So that's what I dealt with yesterday. That's why you're going to get kind of a lackluster Comic Crypt from me. Like I said, though, I think we still did pretty well, even being in a sour mood. I brought what I had to the table. I complained a lot. Field Mouse was a champ. He's always a champ. But then he said he was in a bad mood too. And I was like, well, fucking hell. We start talking in depth about comic related things, maybe like 20 minutes before the episode ended. So you just wanted to hear me and Field Mouse whine and complain about things. Go ahead and listen. And if not, go ahead and listen anyway. Okay. So we're all caught up there. Shout out to my friend Summer for bringing the issue to my attention. And here we are. I didn't post a podcast last week for several reasons. No reasons that were really important or anything like that. But I had recorded on Friday, so the day before St. Patrick's Day, which is March 16th. I recorded then. I opened the show. Usually I open the show with music. I didn't do that necessarily this time around because I know YouTube would be cranky about it. So I didn't do it. I may, add it to the podcast feed versions that you can find on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, Google Play Music, some other ones, I think. Yeah, it's out there. The podcasts are out there. So Where was I going with that? Oh yeah, I recorded and I opened the show or the episode with a Flogging Molly song, and then I closed it with a Dropkick Murphys song. And I did talk quite a bit about St. Patrick's Day. So when Monday rolled around and I just still hadn't had time to post the podcast, I was like, well, this doesn't seem super relevant anymore. So I was like, forget it. I just won't post it. So that's why there was no episode last week. It was strictly because, I mean, timing, really. Timing. The whole dad thing. Yeah, Bane was really sucking my attention dry, which is great. I love spending time with my kid, but he does make it difficult to remain on task sometimes with things that don't really relate to him directly. He's taking a nap right now, so that's how I'm able to do this. Let's see. Let's go to the YouTube. Oh, there I am. Can I share this? How do I share this? Is this right here? That says end stream. What is this? New. Hold potentially inappropriate message from review or for review. I'm not going to turn that on now. Just because I don't really feel like anybody's going to talk any major smack. I mean, no one's watching right now. Oh, okay, cool. All right, so do you want to leave this site? No, I don't want to leave this site. Here, actually, I'm just going to copy the link and go take it over somewhere. Okay. No, I could have just copied it. Neat. Why does it give me all these options to share it places? Oh, I guess I have to like already have those linked, I guess. Okay, whatever. Hopefully this doesn't end the stream going to another page. I mean, the camera looks like it's still on. So let's do the Facebook and see how well that works. Oh, look at mouse posted something. I'm pretty sure Sprint is jerking me around. In other words, my grandfather, if I stop paying the bill, I bet you'll cut it off. Oh, in the words of my grandfather, I was like, what? Yeah, dicks. Fuck you, Sprint. Don't fuck with Skeleton Crew. I swear too much. I need to stop swearing so much. Okay, cool. Trying this out. Recording a new Skeleton Crew brand podcast live. I put line live at preview. Okay, cool. Let's see if this works. Post it. Maybe people will join, maybe people won't. We'll find out though. Oh, that's not a flattering image of me. Yikes. Ooh, I'm not a big fan of my face. I don't find myself to be like an ugly person. I really don't think anyone's ugly, to be honest with you. But at the same time, I don't enjoy looking at me. Is that weird? Shouldn't be weird, right? Look at this. Look at the background. See, look, there's my Venom. That's actually a lady bust. That's a lady right there. Got boobs. Right there. I put a Venom mask on the lady bust. So that's cool. Got a Lucha skeleton. That's neat. Those are some original screens to former Skeleton Crew brand apparel designs. This is weird. I feel like I'm doing like the weather or something. Green screen behind me. Cool. And then there's a bunch of comics on my desk. There's a little Dragonborn pop from Skyrim. More comics on the shelf over here. Bane's little red chair next to his basket of action figures and stuff that were once my action figures. A backpack, a futon. Not a bad setup. I mean, like, if I'm recording with people, we can do like a Talk Nerdy to Me kind of lineup. You know how the Talk Nerdy boys always sit on a couch together and hold hands and like unzip each other's pants and gets weird on that podcast. Yeah, so this might be neat. I was for a while like taking the audio and putting it onto a video. Not really a video, it was just like an image, and then I would upload it. But this is uploading instantly. It'll archive and save me a lot of work and maybe give people a reason to care more. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Maybe this will be a game changer and we can keep doing this more and I'll pizzazz back there a little bit better. It's not a bad background though. I mean, I could have done way worse. I'll have to work on lighting. This half of my face is very lit from the window right here. But I went to film school. I know how to light a thing or two. Maybe not super well, but I mean, I know how. That was one of the more intense classes back in film school, lighting. And if I remember correctly, I think we took 2 lighting classes. Advanced lighting may have been a thing. Might not have been. I don't know. It's been a while. It's been almost 10 years. It's definitely been at least 10 years since I took lighting, because I think lighting was like the third course we were taking. I don't remember. That's when J-Con and I became friends. Justin Connors from 8 Prime. Hey, can I tell you something? He hasn't released it yet, but he did a short film very recently. I think he's still like fine-tuning some stuff. He did a Green Hornet short, which surprised me because if you know anything about my friend J-Con, Justin Connors, I'm going to keep calling him J-Con. He and I tried to do a movie podcast for a little while, but then he got all busy and shit. We probably could bring that back. So what was I getting at? Oh yeah, he did a Green Hornet short and I was really impressed with it. He sent it to me, so I got to watch the movie. And hot damn, my boy's killing it. He's not sure what he wants to do with the short film, only because of like copyright and trademark, and you know, somebody does own Green Hornet. And is it DC? Does Warner Brothers own Green Hornet? Because I know Green Hornet and Batman crossover in the 60s, and then they did the 66 comic book series. They did a crossover. I think Kevin Smith actually wrote that too. Actually, I know Kevin Smith wrote that. So I was a little surprised about Green Hornet. Didn't realize he was a Green Hornet fan. I'm kind of surprised when anybody's a Green Hornet fan, to be honest with you. Not that Green Hornet's not cool, but I don't know. It's just doesn't really stand out. It's really very cool character though. A lot of comics on my desk. This one I'm excited about. October Faction. It's been a minute. October Faction, they reboot a lot and they don't hide it. And it's not even rebooting. It's just every new volume, every new arc starts at number 1. So they have multiple volumes and their numbering is volume based. So it's not like ongoing like DC and Marvel was and then wasn't and then is again, maybe. I know DC is. Not Superman. It is Superman, but it's Action Comics. Action Comics 1000 is coming out. 1,000 issues of a comic book. It's bonkers. It's out of control. Action Comics. I'm going to get it for novelty's sake. I don't really care about Superman. He's never really done it for me. I mean, when he was the only superhero, I can imagine how that was much easier to absorb. But in the heyday of countless superheroes, Superman's kind of hard to do because he's so powerful. He's so strong that he's kind of overpowered. But at the same time, he's allergic to glow sticks. So it's kind of, he's super fucking weak at the weakest thing in the world, a glowing green rock. Yet he can see through walls, leap tall buildings in a single bound, which evolved into him just straight up flying. is he faster than the speed of light? Faster than the speed of sound? I don't know. He's fast as fuck. And super strength, laser beam eyes, frost breath. Like, he's got a really ridiculous power set. But then you throw a green rock at him and he loses it all. So it's kind of weird. And then like the mythology they built on Superman, and I don't know, it's just he started out way too strong in a way too simple of a time. And then they tried to evolve and expand, but they had to work with what they had, and they had just too convoluted. But he's getting his red trunks back. If that's important to anybody, he's going to have his little red underoos on the outside of his pants again. People are really making that out to be much more impressive than I think it really is. Like, I don't feel like it's anything to write home about. It's like, great, he's got his underwear back on. Neat, I suppose. Yeah, comics are getting weird, man. We kind of talked about that a little bit on last night's Comic Crypt, where there's just too much going on. Like, Marvel's pretending they're resetting and rebooting and all that kind of crap again. It's like, yeah, you've been doing that every year, like clockwork, for the last 4 or 5 years, to be honest with you. Because we were doing that for a while, and then what happened? Marvel Now happened, and that was renumbering, and then there was All New Marvel Now, which was another renumbering. And then was All New Marvel Now before or after the second Secret Wars? Because Secret Wars happened, which turned everything upside down, and we did go back to number 1 again with that. And then Secret Wars 2 concluded, and I think we went back to number 1s after that again. And then they were like, let's go back to our legacy numbering. So they went back to the legacy numberings, which made Spider-Man go from like 38 back to 785 or something crazy like that. And yeah, man, too much. Look, if you want to start over at number 1s, take the October faction approach, and just every new volume you have, go back to number 1. But keep them small. You know what I mean? Like, we did talk last night on Comic Crypt about comic publishers apparently being afraid of using the term miniseries, because if readers think it's a miniseries, they might not subscribe, or they may not pick up the book because it's going to end. I don't know. I'm not sure what the logic is behind that, because some of my favorite stories and arcs have been miniseries. So yeah, I don't know. I enjoy having a conclusion to an arc or a series. It bums me out when you're in the middle of an ongoing title and all of a sudden, the publisher decides they want to reboot or renumber, and they do it right in the middle of a run. And you're like, wait a minute, my story wasn't concluded, and now you're giving me another one, and you're subtly changing aspects of my favorite character that you've put into effect. Why? Like, wait, why? I personally think, and Marvel is guilty of it way more than DC is. Marvel, I think, every time a new movie smashes the box office in the MCU, they turn around and want to renumber, go back to number 1s, under the impression that might gain new readers. Like, they might trick readers to jumping on, going like, see, it's number 1, you're not missing anything before this. But yet, even when you go back to a number 1, it doesn't wipe away the hero's canon, or at least not all of it. I mean, there's still a lot of things that are referenced back to. And like for Spider-Man, for example, like, there have been countless deaths. There have been an infinite number almost of evolutions of Spider-Man, different costumes, different, phases in Peter Parker's life that all hold true canonically. So even if you're jumping in at a number 1, you're still not necessarily going to know the history of Peter Parker and Mary Jane Watson's relationship. I mean, granted, they aren't in a relationship, but they do still play factors in each other's lives. Like right now, Spider-Man's dating, what's her name? Bobby, the Mockingbird. I was going to say Black Canary. I'm like, that's not right at all. Yeah, Mockingbird. So I think that's going to carry over when they decide to renumber again. I'm not even entirely sure if Spider-Man lands on the titles that are being renumbered, because Spider-Man might be Marvel's best book to catch up to Action Comics numbering. I think, because Fantastic Four hasn't had a book out in a while, and I think they would be the other highest numbered ongoing title, because Spider-Man's pushing the 800s, I think. So DC hit 1,000 issues with Action Comics. So since DC hit 1,000 issues with a title, of course Marvel's going to have to do the same thing. So I wouldn't be surprised if they kept Spider-Man going on with original numbering. And I don't know if they're going to keep original numbering for Daredevil, because I know Daredevil's hitting issue 600 as well very soon. Like this month, very soon, I think. I think actually next week 600 might come out. Maybe. I guess we could look. Because I know we didn't do this week in comics on Comic Crypt. We kind of lost. I don't know, man. It was a weird night. I was in a sour mood. I was being a pickle. I don't know what that means. Let's see. Comics. Marvel. Looking at your comment. Thor finally dies in Marvel's comic universe. That is misleading. No spoilers, though. No spoilers. But yeah, saying Thor finally dies in Marvel's comic universe is very misleading. Because yes, a Thor does die. Is it Odinson? No. No, it's not Odinson. And for those of you not keeping up, Odin's March 21st new releases. So this is behind us. This came out this week. Oh, damn it. I say damn it, but you know what? I got what I wanted. I don't think any of these books really were singing to me. Oh, Damnation. I need to start getting Doctor Strange Damnation, because that seems like a really killer book. But look at how many tie-ins they have. Iron Fist was tying into it. So this week I went home with Star Wars, and that's it. From Marvel, at least. Show me more. Okay, so let's see. This last Wednesday, the 21st, Iron Man, Hong Kong Heroes #1 came out. Don't know what that is. That sounds really weird. Avengers 685, Avengers No Surrender. And then there's an 11 in the corner, so I'm not really sure what that means. But it looks like Red Hulk wearing the Iron Patriot armor. That's neat. Spider-Man Renew Your Vows. Never got into that. I love the Amazing Spider-Man, but all these different Spider-Man tie-ins are just nuts. They're nuts. Miss Marvel, that doesn't look like Kamala Khan on the cover. Well, I mean, Kamala Khan is on the cover, but that's definitely more a Carol Danvers looking hairstyle, at least. Runaway 7. Spider-Gwen. Okay, Star Wars 45. All right. Weapon H #1. Really, yeah. Not entirely sure why Weapon H got a solo title. I didn't know Weapon H was going to continue on going. Weapon H, to my understanding, is a hybrid Hulk and Wolverine. So he's got Wolverine claws. He is a Hulk, and he's got these like weird Doomsday looking protrusion. He basically looks like Doomsday with fucking Wolverine claws. So don't necessarily know the origin necessarily. I think, let's see, the Weapon X program has done it again at the cost of their own destruction. They've completed their biggest and possibly most dangerous experiment yet. With the strength of the Hulk and the rage and claws of Wolverine comes Weapon H. It's been some time since Weapon H escaped and destroyed his creators. Of course he did. Now our hero is on the run as he tries to escape his mysterious past. Is it mysterious? And seclude himself from the rest of society. So it's really just Hulk then? But when a new kind of Wendigo threatens the lives of others, great. So we have not only a different kind of Hulk, but we have a new kind of Wendigo. This is like this is my problem with fucking Marvel, man. Invent a new character that isn't based on an existing one. Like, holy crap. It bothered me when you did it with Riri Williams and did Ironheart. It bothered me with Miss America Chavez when she just kind of bothers me in the sense that she came from nowhere. I mean, that's awesome. You know, I'm all for strong female leads, but I find it sort of insulting when you don't put any real effort behind creating the character. Because Miss America Chavez turned up in one of the most mundane miniseries ever. I think it was called Vengeance. The covers were really cool, and that's why I started getting the miniseries. But the story was fucking trash. It was just dumb. And it really felt like everybody in the series were just like throwaway characters. So I never really anticipated seeing Miss America Chavez pop up again. But hey, there she is. She popped up in Secret Wars, and I think she's still running around. But I mean, there wasn't a lot put into her. I'm kind of bummed out. Like that prevents a lot of times from a hero becoming anyone's favorite hero because there's no history. There's nothing to connect to. And especially when you make a character like Miss America and you have her in a miniseries as her first appearance with an already assumed backstory. And by assumed backstory, I mean, okay, you know, she has a hero name and superpowers. How she got either, who knows, but just understand that she has them. And then when you want to play, you know, real heavy-handed with your diversity card, you're like, oh wait, we got a female character right here, grab her. And you got to like slap together some BS origin story. I find that more insulting. You want diversity? That's great. I support that. The more heroes we get, the better. The more cultures and ethnicities and genders and beliefs, like everybody should have a handful of heroes that they can personally relate to. That's what's going to keep the comic book industry afloat and progressing, and it will prevent this quote unquote superhero bubble that we're in from popping. I don't think it's a bubble because look, Action Comics is hitting issue 1000. So I mean, like clearly this isn't a fad. If you have 1,000 issues of anything, it's not a fad. What was I going to say after that? I lost it. Oh yeah. Just put some thought into it. Like really care about the hero you're creating. Don't just throw it together for the sake of visually seeming diverse. Because Riri's cool, but I find Riri to be redundant. Because, I mean, especially after the movie came out, Shuri is so much more relatable. And I really feel like Shuri taking up the Iron Man mantle when Tony Stark was gone in the comics, especially with this, I mean, with the new Shuri we have now of futurist tech genius, like, there is no better person to take on, you know, to take Tony Stark's place or be a similar character. I don't know. Just to me, it just seems like half-ass thought and, you know, even more half-assed execution. So that was a rant that all came from Weapon H. That is essentially just the Hulk, because it's a Hulk creature trying to seclude himself from society. But, you know, you want to make him a little cooler, so you add in some elements of Wolverine. And who's he going to fight? Well, let's have him fight a new kind of Wendigo. Instead of just the Wendigo we had, let's fight a new kind of Wendigo, because it's a new kind of Hulk. And does Weapon H fall in the category of Hulks or Wolverines? Because we've got a lot of each. So why are you taking two overly saturated character types and mixing those together? Because that's only making things worse, right? I mean, makes sense to me. So, okay, so he's finding a new kind of Wendigo, threatens the lives of others. Will Weapon H be able to shrink his responsibility? Shirk. I'm dyslexic. Okay. Shirk his responsibility. Does any of his humanity remain? What was his humanity? I guess if I read the book, maybe I would know. But if he is essentially just a Hulk Arene, who is this guy when he's not Weapon H? Only creative team, Greg Pak and Corey Smith can give you the answers. So Greg Pak knows what he's doing. He has some experience in writing Hulk. And then Corey Smith is on... He's on an X-Men title. I don't know if it's blue, gold, or red. I think it's blue. Pretty sure it's blue. Let me... Yeah. Yeah, he's got some X-Men blue cred. So the creative team know... You know, they got a creative powerhouse from Hulk. They got a creative powerhouse from X-Men. And they're doing Weapon H, which is super necessary. So that came out this past week. Check it out if you want. I mean, Weapon H looks cool. Don't get me wrong. But, I mean, it's Hulk meets Wolverine meets Doomsday. So he's gray. He's got protrusions like Doomsday. Built like a Hulk. It's got Wolverine claws. I can only imagine he has an adamantium. Not anti-adamantium. He has an adamantium bone structure too, I presume. So it is what it is. Tales of Suspense 103. That's interesting to me, because Tales of Suspense is an old title. And for them to only have 103 issues, like, is that legacy numbering? That can't be legacy numbering. It's a pretty cool cover, though. Tales of Suspense. Hawkeye and the Winter Soldier. Hawkeye. Yeah, Tales of Suspense. Okay, so it says Tales of Suspense 2017. So is that when this one came out? Tales of Suspense. Production dates. Tales of Suspense 1959 to 1968. Number of issues 99. Okay, so yeah, going back to legacy numbering, I guess that does make sense for it to be 103. Okay. I can buy that. Wow. Yeah. Tales of Suspense gave us Captain America and Iron Man too, or as well. I mean, Captain America existed before Marvel, but I think Tales of Suspense is where we we first saw Captain America in the Marvel universe. So let's see, what is this? Tales of Suspense 58. See our mighty Golden Avenger in Mortal Kombat with Captain America. Let's do first Marvel Captain America. This is Captain America #1, March 19th, 1941. That's his official first appearance. But when did Cap join Marvel? Will it tell us in the Marvel Wiki? Captain America Wiki? It should, right? Captain America Comics #1. Tales of Suspense 63 in 1941. Right? No. Captain America Comics #1, that was 1941. And then he joined in Tales of Suspense #63 in 1965. So I'm assuming 1965 was our first Cap in Marvel. Maybe. Maybe not. Somebody correct me. Actually, you know what? Don't correct me. let me live peacefully in my ignorance. Chris Evans is done with Captain America after Avengers 4. Chris Evans is probably done playing Captain America after Avengers 4. Okay. So that seems to be the news on Variety and Hollywood Reporter today. Is anybody surprised by that? I'm not really. Hey, what do you think's going to happen in Infinity War? I'm curious. People seem to think that characters are going to die. People seem to think that characters are going to die. I'm not entirely sure if characters are going to die necessarily. I think Infinity War is actually going to be an introduction into something far more complicated. Are you guys familiar with the Marvel event known as Secret Invasion? Secret Invasion? I kind of feel like we're being led into Secret Invasion. And especially with the way the movies are lining up. So, YouTube, Kenny Lincoln has subscribed. What up, Kenny? Are you watching right now? Are you watching right now, Kenny? Is that happening? Is this all happening right now? Because I see somebody's watching. Okay. Anyhow, yeah. So Secret Invasion. Secret Invasion was a situation where we learned that there was an alien race by the name of the Skrull, Skrulls, Skrulls, or Skrull for singular. Yeah, they had infiltrated Earth. They're shape-shifting aliens. So what was going on was these Skrulls had shape-shifted into world leaders, some of our favorite heroes, and we discovered this with the death of Elektra in the comics. Elektra dies and reverts back to her Skrull form after she died. And people were like, what? So in discovering that Elektra had been a Skrull for God knows how long, this happened shortly after Civil War also in the comics. I think it was the next event after Civil War. So everybody was still kind of like on the fence of, we already didn't trust, like our heroes already didn't trust each other, and they really didn't trust each other under the assumption of like, well, we were just fighting because we had two different opinions on superhero registration. now you might be an alien. So lots of doubt, lots of seeded doubt in our Marvel universe for quite some time. And it was a really epic event. And I really enjoyed it. I loved the marketing for it. I loved everything for it. If you can, go back and see if you can find some of the old Secret Invasion advertisements. Yeah, they were really cool. I liked them a lot. I was in college when they came out. And the college I went to happened to be kind of across the street-ish from a comic shop. I guess right? Well, yes, it was. Because the comic shop was directly across the street from one of the school's buildings, which happened to be the building that a lot of the film production classes were in. So, yeah, made things real easy to keep up with. But why am I talking about that? So, there's been some chatter about, well, it was confirmed that in the Captain Marvel movie, the villainous threat is going to be, well, maybe not the villainous threat, but they have confirmed that Skrulls will be playing a significant part in the Captain Marvel movie. Now, and then the Captain Marvel movie takes place in the 90s. Why make a period piece? Which is kind of weird to say the 90s is a period piece, but I mean, technically it kind of is, right? Why make a period piece wherein, we're not going that far back in time, but enough to where it puts a significant amount of time between Iron Man 1, which was 2007, 2008, somewhere around there, and, Captain Marvel. Let's just, for argument's sake, there'll be 10 years in between Captain Marvel and when Iron Man becomes Iron Man and the Avengers initiative and all that kind of stuff starts going into effect. For me, that indicates that they are wanting to put some things into effect before the MCU that we have been living in for the last decade. That way, whatever happens in Captain Marvel, if it's not resolved, can bleed over into the other 18 movies that we've had over the past 10 years. And I'm wondering, because they did show that, well, Samuel L. Jackson released a picture of himself having a cast of his head made. Now, there could be several reasons for that. I mean, usually they make a cast of somebody's head if they're going to be adding prosthetics to their face. They're going to blow somebody's head up in a movie. Really, that's kind of mainly the two reasons to make a cast of somebody's head for a film. I'm wondering if that is for prosthetics to be added to Samuel L. Jackson when either Nick Fury has his eye shot out, because supposedly that was another thing that was reported, that Nick Fury will have both eyes in Captain Marvel. So maybe we see him get his eye stabbed or shot, and that's why they needed a cast of his face made, because they're going to put the, special effects, makeup, and shit on. Sure, that's cool. But why post? I guess having a cast of your head made is interesting and social media worthy, but I kind of feel like things are a little more nefarious. I'm wondering if we're going to find out that Nick Fury is actually a Skrull, and that everything that's happened has been secretly invaded. See, I can make stupid smiley faces like that, and people can see it. I enjoy this live thing. This is neat because I don't have to see myself, and I'm able to get this posted. I think I'm going to do this more often. I think this is going to be like a normal thing for me now. Anyhow, I digress. I think we're going to discover that Skrulls have been a large part of our MCU universe. And I'm okay with that. I think that adds a really cool dynamic and a lot of our heroes are either aging out or their contracts are coming up, because like, so aging out, and I do mean this with all respect towards Robert Downey Jr., but he's not going to be Iron Man age forever. You know what I mean? Like, he's at the tail end of his Iron Man acceptable age. Now, you can argue that we can always have Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, either as part of the AI system, because I don't think anybody gives a shit about Friday. And Vision, or Jarvis, became Vision. So, you know, if Robert Downey Jr. decides not to continue on in the MCU, or if he does continue to be in the MCU, but he just doesn't want to be on screen, he can just do voiceover work for whoever's wearing the Iron Man armor next. Or we could just never see Tony Stark outside of his armor. You always just have him in the Iron Man suit. So anytime Robert Downey Jr. is actually on screen, you just show his face, you know what I mean, in the armor kind of thing. Anyhow, again, I'm going off on tangents and I'm trying to get to this point. If we're going to need to reboot or recast some heroes, this is a pretty cool way to discover that the Thor we've known all this time has actually been secretly a shape-shifting alien. Same with Iron Man, same with Cap. You can recast and have like the actual heroes show up with the new actors and blah, 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 blah. And that'd be neat because it plays into part of canon. The recast is less a recast and more of just part of the story. You know what I mean? And the fact that they're not giving us a title, they haven't given us a title for Avengers 4. So Infinity War is Avengers 3 and Avengers 4 is still apparently really hush-hush. And Infinity War used to be Avengers 3 and 4. Like they were going to do kind of like a Deathly Hallows split, or Mockingjay, was that the other one? Mockingjay Part 1, Part 2. So, but then they announced like, nope, that's not what we're doing. We're shoving all of Infinity War into one movie, and then Avengers 4, though related, is not the next half of Infinity War. So I'm wondering, while Thanos is attacking, we discover the existence of Skrulls, and Avengers 4 turns out to be Secret Invasion. So we're getting kind of a double whammy hit. I'd be okay with that. I think the introduction of Skrulls is fascinating more than anything else. And then you can do a few movies of, that's it. You can carry over the Skrulls as villains. You can carry them over into multiple movies. And I literally just thought about this, and this makes things really cool. Marvel's been really reckless in the MCU with killing off their villains. Now, if you introduce Skrulls, you can argue, for instance, I shouldn't say that one because that one's too fresh. Let's say Baron Strucker. Okay, Strucker is a massive Captain America adversary. In Cap's Rogues gallery, I would put Strucker. So it would be like Red Skull, Baron Zemo, Strucker, and Armin Zola would be like his top Rogues gallery. And yeah, clearly you can lace in many other people, but I would say those are like the iconic Captain America foes. They really killed off Strucker like he was nothing. And now this is an opportunity to bring him back because let's say the Strucker that did die was only a Skrull. Skrulls also really add a more logical explanation to Agent Coulson. If Coulson turns out to be a Skrull, so let's say the real Coulson did die in Avengers, And the Coulson that reappeared magically for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., that Coulson is a shape-shifting alien. That's why he doesn't feel completely like the Coulson that we had seen previously. You know what I mean? So that'd be neat. That'd be neat if we discover that Nick Fury's a Skrull, Coulson's a Skrull. I haven't seen any of Jessica Jones season 2. 100% due to I've been trying to catch up on my comic reading, and then Skeleton Crew stuff, and like, you know, time gets away from me. And I got the kid. Bane is, yeah, man, when having a kid, like, certain things get easier, and while those things get easier, other things become more challenging. So Bane is far more self-sufficient in being able to tell us like what he wants and what he wants to do and things like that. But at the same time, he can tell you what he wants and wants to do. So, you know, it's a lot harder to just kind of like hang out and watch, you know, binge a TV series, because he'll get up and look at you and go, see, if you watch the video on YouTube, you can see what I'm doing. Yeah, he does that. So whenever he does that, you got to get up and go do whatever he wants to do. And it makes it difficult to sit and watch a TV show with him pulling you away every 15 minutes. I'm not complaining. I love it. I think it's great. I love Bane, hanging out with him. But like I said, yeah, it's prevented me from watching any Jessica Jones. This isn't necessarily a spoiler, but I'm going to, I mean, if you don't want to hear it, I guess you don't have to. You can jump off now, but I haven't seen any Jessica Jones, and I don't feel spoiled by this information, so I don't know why you would either. But Field Mouse had told me that in the first episode of Jessica Jones, she's doing like this kind of like interrogation interview thing with a number of people, from what I understand. And one of the people say that the government is controlled by lizard people or something like that. And yeah, this wasn't on Comic Crypt, like the one that we recorded yesterday. This is on the previous episode. So you can go back and listen to it there, but I'm just reiterating what was said. So yeah, the whole lizard people controlling the government is a pretty common like conspiracy theory situation to be in. But also Skrulls are green, and they could sort of be reptilian looking to somebody who doesn't know what a Skrull is. You know what I mean? So did that work? Does that tie in logically? You know what I mean? Like, because the Netflix shows and the movies have never nodded at the Netflix shows, but the Netflix shows have always nodded towards the movies. So I'm wondering if that whole like aliens control the government, or lizards control the government, we're going to find out that Skrulls have been here controlling the government, essentially. So I'm excited about that prospect. Things seem to be piecing together and falling into place for that to be like the logical move for Avengers 4. But there's really no telling. Aside from that, the only other real mystery for Infinity War is where the Soul Gem is. We know where all the other gems are for the most part, but the Soul Gem is still a mystery. And I want, okay, I'm going to be 100% honest here. There's a podcast I listen to called Dynamic Duels, Marvel versus DC or something like that. It's a really cool podcast. I don't mean to pimp other people's shows, but you can never have too many podcasts to listen to. So when you're not listening to a Skeleton Crew brand podcast, go check out Dynamic Duels. On that podcast, they do these things called the No Prize, which used to be a Marvel gimmick back in the day, where you'd win a prize, but it would be no prize. It's really, you're just winning bragging rights and just notoriety and recognition from the person that posed the contest. I won the No Prize, myself and one other person. We won the No Prize for the latest episode where they reviewed Jessica Jones. I didn't listen to the whole episode. I just heard myself get the prize. But the question was, where do you think the Soul Gem is in the MCU? Like, who has it? I said that it may be in Wakanda, since they're able to go and speak to their, ancestors in this like ancestral plane or what. Like that kind of seems soul gemmy-ish to me. Like if they had the soul gem, I would believe that'd be a capability that they would have to kind of cross planes and speak to their dead sort of thing. Which is cool. I like that theory still. Another goofy theory I had was maybe Stan Lee is the one walking around with the soul gem. Maybe. But he's a watcher. We've already established that in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. He's one of the watchers. Then Field Mouse had an idea that I stole. So I used Field Mouse's answer for this question and won a prize. I didn't tell him that. He won't listen to this either. So he'll never know unless you go and rat me out. So Field Mouse's idea was maybe the hand has the soul gem. Because what else could you do with the soul gem? You could bring back the dead. What does the hand do? That's what they do. They bring back the dead constantly. So having the soul gem would really make the whole hand thing make more sense. Because that whole like crushed up dragon bone thing, it's, I don't know. Like that's great and all, but it doesn't, like, from watching Defenders, it doesn't look like they're going to be running out of any dragon bone anytime soon. But at the same time, it's like, well, there will be a point where you run out of this source. An Infinity Stone won't run out, though. I mean, we have no reason to believe that it would run out. So for the hand to be using the soul gem to resurrect their fallen ninjas and Elektra and things like that, I think makes sense. I think it would be pretty cool. And it would perfectly tie in the Netflix shows to our MCU movies and hopefully be able to get us our Defenders on the big screen with everybody else. And we'll see Daredevil hanging out with Doctor Strange. I'm really looking forward to Infinity War. I'm really looking for that. The latest trailer has me incredibly psyched, like way stoked. Tiffany actually got a joke before I did from the trailer. Like her comic book knowledge has grown exponentially over the time that we've been together. But I wouldn't throw her in the mix of like, you know, she doesn't geek out hard. Like she enjoys it. She really has a lot of fun keeping up with comic book stuff with me. But I mean, if she and I weren't together, I don't think she'd have any interest in it. In the trailer though, and again, this isn't a spoilers in the fucking trailer. I know there's some kind of spoilery things in trailers, but if you're avoiding the latest trailer, we've seen most of it all before. Like this latest trailer for Infinity War is really giving a better understanding of who Thanos is, how Thanos relates to what's going on. And it shows us more heroes crossing over and talking to each other. So there's a clip of Star-Lord, Spider-Man, and Iron Man talking together. And then at the end of the trailer, Spider-Man walks up and introduces himself to Doctor Strange. He's like, "Hey, hi, my name's Peter." And Doctor Strange goes, "I'm Doctor Strange." And Peter's like, "Oh, okay, so we're using our made-up names, and I'm Spider-Man." And I was like, ha ha ha. It's funny because Doctor Strange isn't his made-up name. He's actually Stephen Strange, and he's a doctor. But it sounds so, yeah. So I thought it was a funny joke, and I told Tiffany, I was like, do you get it? She's like, yeah, because it's his real name. It's not a made-up superhero name like Spider-Man. And I was like, oh. So you caught that, huh? And she made me feel stupid for not, like, for bringing it up. Like, I thought it was a fantastic discovery that was just made. And she was like, yeah, no shit, dummy. She didn't call me a dummy, but she might as well have. But yeah, really looking forward to that stuff, man. Really stoked. We just spent this entire episode talking comic book stuff, like nonsense. We have a comic book podcast that I really could have done this on, but you know, it never hurts, right? The Skeleton Crew brand podcast is really just me ranting about shit. And today I wanted to rant about comics. There we are. There's something I didn't touch on, but you can go listen to Comic Crypt for that because we did actually talk about. So look, when you listen to Comic Crypt this week, and you're like, wow, there wasn't a whole lot of comic talk. I just filled in. I just provided the comic talk that we could have and should have done on that episode, but didn't. It's still entertaining and funny. But here's your comic book fill. What we do discuss, though, is the latest Deadpool 2 trailer, and some of the, I don't even know, controversy is not the right word, but some of the murmurings of the latest Deadpool trailer for Deadpool 2 and some of the rumors around the advanced screenings. It sounds like some people aren't super stoked on it. And it looks like they've made some interesting moves with, I don't know. It seems peculiar, the choice that they've made. And, we'll see. We'll see how it works out. I just feel like they may have taken something that people want to see a serious version of, and they've made kind of a Deadpool-esque version. And I don't know if people are going, I don't know if like hyper fans are going to be stoked. The general public, maybe, but like real in-depth comic book fans, especially mutant fans, I can see how some of them would be a little bummed out about it. And yeah, I don't know. Go watch the trailer. You'll see, you'll understand, or just go listen to Comic Crypt, because Field Mouse and I discuss it in kind of great length, actually. So maybe we did talk more about comic books than I'm giving us credit for. Huh. Anyhow, SkeletonCrewBrand.com, folks. Go there. Everything's fine. Everything's okay. I made sure of it. Everything's fine. So go there, check out our web store, check out the other podcasts. We got new episodes of Comic Crypt just posted. There's a new one coming up in a few days. There's a new episode of Spook Show Radio. If you haven't checked out Spook Show Radio and you are a horror fan, it's the podcast for you. And this one, Biff Bambort doesn't do shit right now. It is what it is. Look, Biff Bambort is a treat. When it happens, we come correct, we come hard, and we really bring it. But it doesn't happen all the time. So Biff Bambort still exists. It just, there's some stuff going on with Biff Bambort that we may come back stronger than ever, in more of a live kind of vibe. So we'll see. There's something Ryan Horn is working on with some friends that may provide the next level of Biff Bambora. So we'll see. We'll keep you posted on that, but don't expect to hear any news on that anytime in the immediate future, but just know that Biff Bambora exists. So Comic Crypt, Biff Bambora, Spook Show Radio, and this one. So that's all that. Check out our web store. New shirts up all the time. I still need to do a second design for March. I'm trying to do 2 new designs a month. The first design that I released for March was our Pit Crew design, which is a tribute to the greatest dog breed on the planet, the Pit Bull. So if you're a Pit Bull fan or know any Pit Bull lovers, go check out our Pit Crew shirt. It's just on the homepage of SkeletonCrewBrand.com. Snag one of those for them. And if you don't trust my site, that's okay. You can go to Etsy. Etsy has all the same stuff that we do have currently in our web store. So go check out Etsy if you would like. And if you don't feel like dropping shirt money, it's totally understandable. I get it. Times are tough. Money's tight. But I do want to only do this with my life. I don't want to have any other professional obligations that aren't Skeleton Crew. So if you don't feel like dropping shirt money, but you got a little bit of treasure you can throw our way, go to patreon.com/Leal Legacy, Leal Legacy, or just look up Skeleton Crew Brand on Patreon, and you can become one of our patrons. There's 3 levels of patronships. They are all less than the price of a t-shirt. 2 of the levels will get you some Skeleton Crew branded nonsense, stickers, patches, buttons, pins, whoopee cushions, pogs, just whatever I feel like slapping the Skeleton Crew logo on. That comes along with 2 tiers. And then the first tier, it's like $1. $1 a month will get you extra content. Now that I know how to do this, I always knew how to do it, but now that I've successfully executed doing this, I can do more things like this for the Patreon edges. So the Patreon exclusive will probably be called Crewcast, and I'll probably recycle the old Geekcore music for the intro and outro. And yeah. So if you need a little more Skeleton Crew brand in your life and you want to show support, go check out patreon.com/Leal Legacy. And Leal Legacy will be playing a stronger part in all things Skeleton Crew brand. It'll be kind of like a dual branding. Like the Skeleton Crew will be the branding for supporters and merch and all that kind of stuff. And then like Leal Legacy is our digital media and design company. So if it says Leal Legacy or Skeleton Crew brand on it, just know it's all related to the same thing. So there's that. Also on the YouTubes, let's make sure who's texting me. Oh, no one's texting me. It's all just fucking emails. Anyhow, I gotta unsubscribe from some of this nonsense. What was I saying? Oh yeah, YouTube. This is on YouTube. So another thing I do on YouTube is I live stream Skyrim. I call it J. Leal Does Skyrim. We're 37 episodes deep. I'm going to do a live stream of episode 38 today. And it's just me playing through Skyrim. We built a character for Skyrim, and every second of gameplay I have been live streaming and archiving on our YouTube channels and the website. So subscribe to my YouTube, this one, the Rev J Leal YouTube. The same videos go up on the Skeleton Crew brand YouTube and the website. So you can check it out anywhere, but subscribe to my YouTube, hit the little ding dong bell to be notified anytime I go live or live stream or post a video. You will be notified and you'll be able to partake and join in and hang out. So check out that if you are a Skyrim fan or if you know any. I think it's really entertaining, but then again, I'm playing the game. I try to provide some really fun commentary, but if nothing else, it's just, I'm not great at a lot of video games, but I'm pretty good at Skyrim. I do die from time to time, but I don't feel like it hinders the viewing experience at all. I mean, I don't think so, at least. So, that being said, let's wrap it. Let's wrap it up. Not bad. I will more than likely do the live stream as while recording these moving forward, because it seems like it worked out pretty well. Looks pretty good. You can see, designs by Tiffany. Look at this. She put together this office for me. It looks like it turns out to be a much better backdrop than I thought it would be. Right here is kind of blank, so maybe I can do something with that space, but maybe I can move my Venom over here and it'll make it more symmetrical, maybe not. Who knows? But yeah, so I'll probably be doing this more often and looking forward to it. Now, with all that check it out. You can get that shirt if you want it. That's in the store on the Etsy. It's pretty cool. Tribute to Hell Hydra. Yeah. All right, folks. Until next time. Bye. I do want to end the stream. Yes, I do.